Padang, the capital of Indonesia's West Sumatra province, lies on Sumatra's west coast. A city of over 1 million people in the heart of a tropical paradise, yet largely undiscovered by European tourists. Padang's harbour is the largest and busiest harbour on the west coast of Sumatra. It serves inter-island as well as international routes. It was built originally in 1888 by the colonial government of the Netherlands. A new container terminal was built in 2013 which can hold more than 4,000 containers. The port is the main gateway to the Mentawai Islands. The port is also a major terminal for high quality cement from one of the oldest cement mines in Indonesia, having been founded in 1910. One has only to look out from the harbour to see some of the beautiful tropical islands dotted along the coast. The Indonesian archipelago has been an important region for trade since at least the 7th century. Here, Manis Beach is a safe, sheltered beach not far from the main centre. Onshore, beautiful tropical forest grows thick with coconut trees. The beach provides an ideal safe swimming spot for Michael Matthew, the skipper of Crystal Clear, to train his 2 young daughters the skills needed for their surfing future. The outer harbour provides safe anchorage for waiting ships. The tranquil beauty of this area hides the terrible toll a tsunami can take on the area. On September the 30th, 2009, a 7.9 magnitude earthquake hit about 50 kilometres off the coast of Padang. There were more than 1,100 fatalities, 313 of which occurred within Padang. The natural wonders and the superb climate attract some of the top tourists from around the world. This boat, the Census, is a luxury yacht, 59 metres long. It was built in 1999, but is available for charter for $325,000 a week, plus expenses. Now, travellers can journey to unexplored, pristine beaches, waking to a different break each day on the Rata Motu, a 129-foot power yacht. With crystalline waves breaking on its shores year-round, Indonesia is a water wonderland. It's no easy feat to navigate an archipelago that contains roughly 18,000 islands. Fuel for the city of Padang and outlying districts is brought ashore to this tank farm from the wharf immediately out to sea. It's actually good to see that it's almost pollution-free, an unexpected sight in Indonesia. Rice paddies stretch from one end of Indonesia to the other. If you look carefully below, you will see there is no vehicle access. The reason is simple: all of the work is done by hand. All of the rice is carted out on the shoulders of workers to the nearest road. Indonesian fishermen have long been regarded as amongst the best in the world. That regard is not held for their ability to manage fish stocks, and now many of the boats are at anchor. That's simply because there's not enough fish left in the sea to make it economical for them to head out to sea and catch. These days, fish farms are popular and have evolved in many areas of Indonesia. That saves the wild fish stocks, but little regard is held for what damage it does to local ecosystems. We hired a local driver in Padang, Riyad Ditas, an excellent driver who I would highly recommend. When we were travelling without our friends Michael and Evie Matthew, the owners of Crystal Clear, my instructions to our driver were not to take us to well-known tourist spots. We want to see the real Padang area, and more often than not, it paid off. These two small islands, a few kilometres off the mainland, look too good to resist. They may have been close to the limits of the drone, but we had to have a go. We had been looking for paradise. I think that this is about as close as you can get. According to a geospatial survey conducted between 2007 and 2010 by the National Coordinating Agency for Survey and Mapping, Indonesia has 13,466 islands. About 6,000 of those are inhabited. The tropical waters must have been a nightmare to navigate for the original explorers. Padang has been a trade centre since the 16th century. During the 16th and 17th century, pepper was cultivated and traded with India, Portugal and the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. In 1663, the city came under the authority of the Dutch and a trading post was built in 1680. The city came under the British Empire twice, firstly in 1781 to 1784 and then during the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War, and again from 1795 to 1819 during the Napoleonic Wars. In 1819 the city was transferred back to the Netherlands. Up to around 1780 the most important trade product was gold, originating from gold mines in the region. When the mines were exhausted, the focus turned to other products such as coffee, salts and textiles. Indonesian fishermen are at home on the sea. Their ability to navigate these treacherous waters in boats with no technological gear on board are legendary. Our trip along the coast provided a wonderland of magical sea and landscapes. On land, it was an adventure where a surprise lay around so many corners. Many buildings had roofs built to deter witches or evil spirits landing. Back home, we have our own orchard, so it was difficult to drive past too many of the incredible fruit stalls adorned with an array of tropical fruits, many of the likes we had never tried before. One beautiful spot we were taken to was Lake Maninjau, a tropical paradise in the midst of the Sumatran jungle. This to us was the real heart of Sumatra that we had come to see, a country where tourists rarely visited, but country where the people had easy smiles and were proud for us to show an interest in their way of life. The lake was festooned with hundreds of fish farms. The jungle reached right down to the lake edge in most places, a jungle that from all the publicity was being flattened for palm oil plantations. We never saw any jungle that had been developed, and we travelled for hundreds of kilometres. This area, far from the coast, was amazing for the ingenuity that had gone into making a living by the thousands of people who lived here. Very little machinery was used. The fish farms were tended by small boats, and the rice paddies had all been crafted by hand. This was typical, beautiful Indonesia. This is the kind of beauty many can only wish to see. A land carved from the jungle by proud and able souls. Land where the harvest means a future until the next harvest. A land of dreams. Dreams hard won by hundreds of years of hard work. It is a land that when we trespass to capture the life and the land on film, we are honoured with pure kindness from proud people of the land. The people of Indonesia receive no benefits or pensions from their government. They expect none. They are families who provide their own future. Like the tall trees who grow up through the choking jungle canopy, the people of this land are survivors. Jungle the likes of which were almost impenetrable. Jungle that was foreign to the men who fought the Second World War here. What you do not see is the fearsome temperatures reached in this country. Lake Maninjau is home to thousands of people, all of which, in one way or another, eke a living from the land and water below. The rice paddies have all been hacked out of virgin jungle. Hundreds of years of work has gone into crafting them to the way they are now. Each paddy is flooded with around 125 mils of water, therefore each paddy must be exactly the same level at all points. The water has huge benefits for the plants. It prevents many funguses and insects from attacking the plants, and it also stops weeds growing. As often happens in this neck of the woods, there is a surprise around so many corners. Here we came across a biawak, an animal I had never even heard of before, so we had to get some footage of this. A bridge and a myriad of power wires, cables and high tension wires all had to be navigated through and under to get close enough to film this unusual looking critter. Water lizards, or biawak, are often found in villages and urban areas in western Indonesia. The length of their body, that's a muzzle to the tip of the tail, is generally only about 1 metre, although some can reach 2.5 metres. These ones must have been bigger than average. They prey on various insects, crabs, frogs, fish, lizards, birds, as well as small mammals such as rats. They can even climb trees. In mangrove swamps, they often steal eggs or prey on birds. They also eat carcasses, turtle eggs, turtles, or crocodiles. This one had been feeding off a bag of rubbish under the bridge, and that's how I spotted it. I considered we were lucky to get that footage, but now the drone had to be manoeuvred up between all the power wires above the river. I reckon there may have been another one around, so we flew downriver to search. Sure enough, we did find another smaller one lurking along the edge. That soon disappeared into the undergrowth. Right then we found another, probably a big bugger, as it looked like it was 2.5 metres long and out in the open. All the skills to fly a drone were about to be needed. The biawak was not impressed with this flying critter, and we had no idea of how it would react. We could see it could move faster than we could counter. Well, I guess for our first encounter with a biawak, all's well that ends well. And for us and the biawak, we were happy to finish that filming session in one piece. This part of Indonesia, south of Padang in West Sumatra, turned out to be the best scenery we had come across in our many trips through Indonesia. Our policy of not going to the tourist spots had paid off handsomely, and we were treated to some of the best adventures we could have wished for. With a little help from friends that were local and an excellent driver, we enjoyed this neck of the woods immensely. Flying in Indonesia is not without its challenges. Almost wherever we go there are power wires to fly into. Kites are flying all over the country to great heights. They are hard to see, and the strings they use to connect with them are all but invisible. Commonly known as a drone, which is an aircraft without a human pilot aboard, also known as UAVs or unmanned aircraft system, they utilise a ground-based controller and a system of communication between the two. The flight of a UAV may operate with various degrees of autonomy, either under remote control by a human operator or autonomously by onboard computers. Without the huge leap in technology in the last couple of years, this documentary would have not been possible.